It was at a pride parade in Chicago, and it was 1991 or two. I was at a booth, and I met Sergeant Miriam Ben Shalom, and she is a lesbian who was kicked out of the military, sued the government, got back in, probably back in for a day when they said, "Are you a lesbian?" And she said yes, and back out again under a different charge. I don't know what between the first and second. But Miriam was really angry and said, that gay people should have just as much right to serve as anybody else, and if we want to. And when I met her at the booth, I told her I was Navy, I was retired, I had the GI Bill, and then she kept poking me and saying, "Well, don't you think you owe a little bit back to your country?" And I said, "I served 4 years." She said, "No, you got your GI Bill. You got your free college. There are 1,000 people being kicked out every year, and they're not getting anything. Don't you feel guilty about that?" And I said, "Well, not really." But by the time that I was done with that conversation with her, I had already agreed to start the Chicago chapter of Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual Veterans of America, GLBVA. And that was 1991 and 92, and now this is 2016, 25 years later, and we are still going strong in Chicago. In 1992, before 92, President-elect Clinton said he was going to lift the ban, and we totally believed him, and it's about time. Well, when he got in, he started waffling a little, and he came to Chicago one time for some event, and we were all lined up with waffles, frozen waffles, throwing waffles at his car. Nobody knew what the hell the waffles were all about, but anyway, he did not lift the ban. He chicken shit. He was afraid of the military brass, and he made this compromise of don't ask, don't tell, don't harass, don't pursue. And I think in some ways it did help some people, because they couldn't totally go after you. Some people managed to escape because they could deny it. They were not caught in flagrante or anything, but that helped a few people. But it encouraged all the witch hunts, which got much worse in 94, 95. It was 1,000 people a year. I think in 1 year it was 1,500 people kicked out. I went to D.C. for the big march in 1993, and it was 1 million people. I mean, you couldn't, as far as you could see on the mall, was gay people. Subways, stores, anywhere you went. We had agreed to sit down in front of the White House and protest the don't ask, don't tell policy, and we were not going to move. So Miriam and a guy from New York, I'll think of his name in a minute, and me, were the only 3 veterans. There were 20 other people. They wouldn't sit on the ground, on the concrete, because they didn't want to get their clothes dirty or whatever. So the 3 of us are sitting there. The police came along and policeman said to me, "Are you going to get up, or do I have to pick you up?" And I looked at him and I said, he was really good looking. And I said, "Oh, honey, you can pick me up anytime you want." So they picked us up and handcuffed us and threw us in the paddy wagon and took us down to the station. I remember they said to the guy in front of me, "Do you have an alias?" They were filling out his form, and he said, "Mary." And the place went up for grabs. He didn't know what was so funny. And then the second thing he said is, "Okay, all the men in one cell and all the women in the other cell," and everybody said, "Yay!" It got to be chaos. But, $50 fine, out you go.